And welcome to the first annual GamePro Award. With your host, J.D. Robb.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of GamePro. It's the first annual GamePro Award show. Now, today, we're handing out awards for game cards chosen as the very best of 1991. And the judges who determined which games would receive these mucho prestigious trophies were the members of Team GamePro. Now, this is a group made up of readers of GamePro magazine, which, as you know, is the #1 source for home and arcade video game information. So, without further delay, let's kick it with a look at who snatched the gold in the Best 8-Bit Game of the Year category. Now, with the 16-bit games coming on strong in 1991, you wouldn't have thought it would be a happening year for the 8-bit game cards as well. So I gotta tell you, when the time came to choose the best, we were surprised by just how many games deserved consideration. But when the dust had cleared, there was only one game that stood head and shoulders above the rest. Ever since this game arrived on the scene last May, gamers everywhere have been blown away by a brand new bunch of green amphibious creatures who are heroes, but not in the half shell. They're the Battletoads for the NES. With graphics unlike anything that had been seen before on the Nintendo Entertainment System, we hear players everywhere saying, "I can't believe this is an 8-bit game card." With phenomenal action sequences combining the very best of games, such as Double Dragon and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, gamers everywhere flocked to the stores to get their copy of this most excellent cart so they could get busy with the adventures of Rash, Pimple, and Zitz, and the quest to defeat the Dark Queen. So the award for the best 8-bit video game of 1991 goes to Battletoads from the folks at Trade West. And stay tuned, because there's a 16-bit Battletoad adventure coming to Super Nintendo very soon. In fact, I just found out that our Game Lab spies managed to smuggle out this tasty preview of the 16-bit version. Check it out. Wow, that was some really cool stuff. Maybe we'll be seeing Battletoads here next year in the 16-bit category. Next up, we'll take a look at the winner of the award for the best graphics achievement of 1991. With graphic quality taking a giant leap forward in 1991, once again, our judges found themselves buried under a pile of game contenders. But when the votes were in, Team GamePro chose Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective for the TurboGrafx 16 CD-ROM as the top graphics achievement of 1991. As 1991 came to a close, the TurboGrafx 16 was still the only video game system in the United States that had an optional compact disc game drive. But it wasn't until NEC released Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective that gamers everywhere had a really good reason to go out and buy this CD edition. Sherlock Holmes demonstrated with unbelievable clarity just what a CD-ROM drive could do when it comes to displaying live video on a game screen unlike anything we've seen before. We all know that the future of home video games very much includes the use of CD-ROM. And when the day comes where we pop all of our games into the compact disc drive rather than a cartridge slot, remember that the first to really show us what graphics could be on a home game screen was Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective, our 1991 winner for graphics achievement. Welcome back to the first annual GamePro Awards. Next up, GamePro's Handheld Game of the Year. Now let's face it, it just wouldn't be Christmas without a new Mega Man adventure, would it? And dude and dudettes, we were not disappointed. With the early fall release of Mega Man in his first Game Boy adventure, we not only had the Christmas present we were looking for, we also had the handheld game of the year. The first Game Boy version, featuring the popular Mega Man character, turned out to be one of the most exciting Mega Man ventures of all time. In Doc Wily's Revenge, we met up with some of the good old villains we know and love from earlier Mega Man adventures, along with the all-new and incredibly evil Mega Man Hunter. Of course, the Doc himself made an appearance in this terrific cart for the small screen. With all the fun, excitement, and elements of its big brother NES version, Mega Man was the hands-down winner for the Handheld Game of the Year. And to the folks at Capcom who keep turning out these Mega Man adventures, we say, keep 'em coming. And I am accepting this award on behalf of Mega Man, who is in Europe taking a vacation from Doc Wiley. We love you, Mega Man. Excuse me. Yeah. Oh, hey, thanks a lot. All right. If there's one area where the Super Nintendo has really shined, it's got to be the incredibly realistic sound effects and magnificent music that emanate from this video game cart. So, it's no wonder that an SNES game walked off with the honors in the Sound Achievement category in what proved to be the closest awards race in the bunch. We got to tell you that the Team GamePro judges had a difficult time choosing between ActRaiser, Toe Jam and Earl, and Super Castlevania 4. Each of these games gave us remarkable sound and are worthy of mention. But when the votes were counted, the judges picked Super Castlevania 4 as the best among the best in sound achievements. In the Super NES version of the Belmont's long-running battle against Dracula and the forces of evil, we found ourselves exposed to sound effects unlike anything we had previously experienced in the comfort of our own homes. And the music? Well, if you ask me, they ought to release a CD of this stuff, put it on the radio, because these sounds are a stone-cold hit. Our congratulations go to Konami, the company who bring you Super Castlevania 4 and the winners of the GamePro Sound Achievement Award. Way to go. This joystick is yours. Team GamePro's decision is in for the best sports game of 1991. Not. And I could not agree more with their choice. Definitely not. Now, in a year that saw fantastic steps forward in graphic excellence and overall quality in sports game carts, there was one game which stood way above the rest. Get real. I'm talking about NHL hockey for the Genesis. If you haven't yet picked up your controller and faced off in this monster sports cart, you have no idea what you're missing. Sure, the graphics are excellent. The sound effects, top-notch. But what this game is all about is realism and action. As your players glide across the ice rink, you can feel it all happening. There's penalties, power plays, and hey, what would a hockey game be without fights? Choose your team from a full complement of NHL hockey clubs created to accurately represent each team's real-life strengths and weaknesses. You can even change lines just like a real hockey team would, depending on the situation you face in the game. Hey, look, I got to tell you that NHL hockey is the absolute state-of-the-art in sports game action, and we congratulate our friends at Electronic Arts for hours of exciting game-playing action. Hey, guys, keep them coming.